Hi, it's 7 Grains of Salt, COVID-19 Law Lab, and more. Let's take a look together. They're collaborating to change the laws.
As we have said previously, political leadership and community engagement are the two vital pillars of the response. One of the tools governments can use is the law, not to coerce, but to protect health while protecting human rights. Yesterday, WHO, the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, and Georgetown University launched the COVID-19 Law Lab, a database of laws that countries have implemented in response to the pandemic. It includes state of emergency declarations, quarantine measures, disease surveillance, legal measures relating to mask wearing, physical distancing, and access to medication and vaccines. Well-designed laws can help to build strong health systems, evaluate and approve safe and effective drugs and vaccines, and enforce actions to create healthier and safer public spaces and workplaces. However, laws that are poorly designed, implemented, or enforced can harm marginalized populations, entrench stigma and discrimination, and hinder efforts to end the pandemic.
Well, I think that's about all we can handle of Mr. Tedros. I'd add more because some of it was, but it's nothing new. There is nothing new, just talking about how all countries are dealing with these issues. But they're wanting to change the laws and they're wanting to have them implemented. And, my question is, why did they have to come up with this? I believe it's because they want the one world system, right? They want all of the countries to work as one. Why they chose Georgetown University, I don't really know. But let's just look at a few things. I'll add the links so you can look into it further. So they're launching this COVID-19 Law Lab. It's to protect the health and well-being of individuals, they say, adhere to international human rights standards, live free from stigma and discrimination and violence, he says. Oh, wow. Very, very interesting. So, UNDP, what did they have to say? Is a leading United Nations organization fighting to end the injustice of poverty, inequality, and climate change, working with our broad network of experts and partners of 170 countries. We help nations to build, integrate lasting solutions for people and planet. But you all know who the UN is, and I do too. They are corrupt, just as corrupt as the WHO. The WHO said their goal was for 2019 to 2023 is to ensure that 1 billion more people have universal health coverage, to protect 1 billion more people from health emergencies, and to provide a further 1 billion people with better health and well-being. O'Neill Institute said we must learn lessons from the early stages of the pandemic policies to implement the most effective laws going forward. COVID-19 Law Lab allows us to do just that. Now, about the Universal Health Coverage Legal Solutions Network. This is one of their statements there. I'm not going to read the entire thing, just the underlined one. The initiative aims to support countries around the world seeking to harness the power of law to address critical health issues. This collaboration aims to provide evidence-based legal technical assistance and customizable technical advice to national leaders seeking to develop and reform effective laws, regulations, and policies. The Interparliamentary Union, so the IPU, was also kind of involved, even though they weren't mentioning them at first, but I saw this in there, and they want to craft laws. That's basically it. That's all I'm going to read. You can pause and read the entire thing. But this is what I found interesting, and this was in one of their sites there. A wolf in sheep's clothing. Interesting that they would use that terminology, don't you think? the food and beverage industry and our ability to respond to health challenges. That's right, Coca-Cola is wanting to support communities and health professionals. So they gave millions, Nestle gave millions, providing support to organizations in the front lines against the pandemic. Interesting. I mean, Coca-Cola, they're the ones supporting and even providing Coca-Cola to these nations. And Nestle, yeah, those are healthy options, right? Try just water. They also reported the industry of breast milk substitutes has launched campaigns to deliver infant formula to vulnerable communities in Veracruz and southeast Mexico. So my thought was, I wonder if it's bio milk, right? We just did a video on that, so unbelievable. I'll add all the links to this. So looking into Georgetown, what I saw were a few things. So this is in their own website. Interesting. So I wondered why they chose Georgetown. Yes, I believe all universities are controlled by the Freemason, but interesting that they say right off the bat, Jesuit University. No hiding it there. No, not at all. Then they have a statue of Saint Joseph. Saint Joseph? Who is Saint Joseph? Was my question. Well, when you look into it further, that's right. It is Joseph, just Joseph, was a founder of Mormonism. So they just added the saint there because, of course, he was a leader of Mormonism. He's on the campus there. And yeah, you can read he got the statue there because of the flu pandemic and how they survived that there. There was more information about that. Sorry about that, my computer started to act up. The only reason I brought this picture in here was a little information on who made the statue, and it was a young lady named Julia Levitina. Interesting that they put C3 right there, right? That means 33. Just thought I'd throw it in there. I don't understand. So yeah, there's a lot of symbolism there at that Georgetown University, and they call him the Prophet. Wonderful. Lots of other things that I noticed was the G and the bulldog was there. When I looked up the gematria of that, Jack the Bulldog, that's his name, equals 131 in simple gematria, and then just the plain bulldog was 73, which is the pyramid, right? It has 73. I found also some laws that had been changed. Very disturbing that they changed so many and on one particular day. I know that most won't understand this, but just look at the date. Computer is acting up again. I apologize. So you see, the 23rd, they changed so many things on that date here in Finland. Unbelievable. I don't understand why they had to choose exactly that day, but you and I know that's one of their favorite numbers, right? And there's also a link to showing how they would open up America again. I'll add everything, not to worry, so you can look into it more yourself. Because it would take too long to go into everything, and I just want to keep it simple. Ilo was also there. Ilo means joy in Finnish, just by the way. Unites the efforts of 11 organizations. Yeah, a lot of them, and all of them are corrupt, just like the World Bank is. And it was formed by the League of Nations, so we know exactly who are behind this, and that is all the Freemasons. Well, this is the new normal, and that's what they keep saying, the new normal.
So what do we need to do right now in order to reopen the country to get back to, some sort of normalcy and sort of set a new normal, whatever the new normal is?
Well, I will say it's three phases. The acute phase we're in now, the semi-normal phase until we get a vaccine, and then the truly normal phase after the vaccine has protected all of us.
So I'm sure most of you understand there is no going back. They want change and countries to change the laws because this is their new normal. Let's take another look at Tedros, though.
Countries have been asking their citizens to understand their risk, to adapt, to engage, to give up to things they value and that define them. In the face of the COVID-19 pandemic, countries are using a range of tools to influence behavior Information campaigns are one tool, but so are laws, regulations, guidelines, and even fines. We're learning what works and what doesn't. That's why behavioral science is so important. It helps us to understand how people make decisions, so we can support them to make the best decisions for their health. Today, I'm proud to announce that WHO has created a technical advisory group on behavioral insights and sciences for health.
That's right, a technical advisory group, behavioral insights and sciences for your health. They're watching how we're all behaving right now during all of this, what they're enforcing, so that they can adjust and influence our behaviors better. Do I hear re-education? That's what I'm hearing. They plan on tweaking this a little bit better so that they'll put more fear into people. That's how I'm seeing it. One person asked if I mentioned that the no-hide laws would be implemented at a certain date. I'm not putting any dates when they're enforcing this. I just know that it will happen at some point. They are in courts with the UN. All you have to do is go and look, and that's the site right there. And their belief is only in God. They will behead all those that put their trust and faith and pray to Jesus. That's law number 1. So you can watch my 7 no-hide laws video for more information on that. And all presidents have signed this. Just making a mention of this. I've said this so many times, but I'm just going to add it in there because many people do not understand this. This is serious, and it is in the law. It is an American law. It is in the UN law, which means it is all around the world. It just has not been implemented as of yet. But then, before I let you go, I found this to be quite interesting. I'm going to play the first couple seconds of this, but please watch the entire video. Very disturbing. Let's take a look.
Ladies and gentlemen, scientists are working to genetically engineer a tomato which can act as an edible coronavirus vaccine. Now this to me begs the question, what if all of these things we've been hearing about Bill Gates's implantable quantum dot microneedle luciferase enzyme powered injectable delivery system, all of which is legitimately happening right now, what if all of that were just a very diabolical sounding decoy? And the real threat that we should be talking about is something so innocuous seeming as a tomato. I think we need to talk about that. I'm Christian, and this is the Ice Age Farmer broadcast. And
Isn't that crazy? Well, it's a crazy world we live in. I just wanted to share that with you, with everything that's going on with the New Agers, also seeing all the same and warning about all the same things that us Christians are. So it's good to keep an eye on what is going on. But remember God's word. He will never leave us or forsake us. And to take time out if it's really becoming overwhelming, because that's a very important thing. And that's what I'm going to be doing this in the next couple days, going to a cottage. So getting away from this, all this computer and technical and all the YouTube. So hope you have a great weekend and stay safe and stay close to the Lord. God bless.